Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and drop me a comment. Let me know you're here on the live stream, and click the bell icon for all notifications to know when to go live each and every single weekday. Guys, we're going to take a quick look at something. And the question we're going to ask ourselves is it by coincidence that what we're observing has happened and is happening currently, or could it be something else? Now, I personally do not believe in many coincidences in life, especially the older I have gotten. I'm not sure what your personal view is, but yes, there sometimes can be coincidences. We've all had those occur. But for the most part, I do not believe in coincidences. I don't. All right, well, before we get into everything, wanted to check in and see how everyone is doing. Feel free to drop a comment and share if you have anything exciting going on this week. There is a crypto event going on in Singapore, and I had someone reach out to me. Sucks that I'm not going to be there because I had someone reach out to me from the Caspa community about connecting with, I guess they're having a meetup to meet up with a lot of the founders of the project. So that would be really cool. So unfortunately, I won't be going to that, but I'm not sure if anyone's going to be attending that. Yeah, and as far as fun things going on this weekend, I honestly don't have too much planned. You know, last weekend I had my annual cigar. I was with a buddy and probably had a little bit too much tequila. But had a cigar. It felt really nice last weekend. So I think I'm gonna lay low this weekend. But good times last weekend. So, and by the way, you can follow me at Crypto Bull God on X or Twitter, as I still like to refer to it as. If we take a look at current price action, you can see there's a lot of green going on in the market. There aren't really too many projects that are in the red if we go to the mid caps. For the most part, the market is green. We're having a decent day. And one of the things that I've reiterated to you guys is that, you know, and there really isn't any updates over yesterday with current price action, right? If I zoom in here, we're at the same place we were yesterday. Like I've been saying too, and I feel really confident about this. August and September was going to create a lot of noise, and I think I had mentioned this yesterday, but I think a lot of people misinterpret seasonality. Yes, September is typically a red month, but it doesn't mean that it has to be a drastically red month. It doesn't mean we can't be green. But in general, there tends to be a little bit more volatility, right? If we close 1% or 2% down on the chart, it's not gonna be devastating at all whatsoever, right? And you can see we got that volatility that came in here. But so far, guys, we are seeing what could be our true trend reversal, and I shared why. We have a lower high that has come in. Now we want to come in and ultimately take out this swing high here. We want to get up to that $65,000 area is really what we want to do. So we'll have to watch for that. But let's get into the main point. I'll touch on a couple other charts, see what else anyone had to want to talk about. But let's get into sort of the bread and butter of what I wanted to talk about. Welcome in, Evan. Nice to see you. Anybody else in the comments wish to share that you are on the live stream? I would love to hear from you. Let's go back 8 years ago. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a look at sort of the price action that was taking place around August and September. So 8 years ago, okay, you can see that price, we're just going to ignore the wicks. Price was in a relatively tight range here between 630 and 570. Okay, pretty tight range. Bitcoin was a much smaller market cap. Once we got into the month of October, you can see we broke out above this consolidation range, and then we started going significantly higher. In fact, if we zoom out, we can see that's starting in the fourth quarter and for the entire year going into the end of the year. In 2017, we had a massive bull market. We had 2 alt seasons, and Bitcoin had a blow off top at just about $20,000. Okay. Now let's go to 4 years ago. So we're going 4 years forward and 4 years back from today. That would take us to roughly that August, September 2020 timeframe. So if we just study the price pattern or the price data here, and again, just focusing, taking out the wicks here. If we take a look at where price action was between August and September, let's actually move this over one. Give me 1 second. Okay, and you will have to excuse me for a moment, but yeah, let's fix this box, and something important I want to show you here, which is if we look 4 years ago, okay, back in that August, September 2020 timeframe, you can see that we were consolidating within a pretty tight range between 12,000 and 10,000, okay, 20% range. Beginning in October is where we broke out of it. Now, ultimately, what ended up happening this time around, even though this was part of a corrective structure, the bull run did not end until the end of 2021. Bitcoin had essentially double topped. It was forming this irregular correction within an Elliott wave called an expanded flat. We've spent a lot of time talking about that. And you had altcoins. Some altcoins had 2 runs. I know Harmony One's a great example. You know, Harmony One, I don't know what it went up to here, maybe 20 or 30 cents, and then here it went up to like 40 cents. I think it was like 20 some cents and then 40 cents. So we had essentially what I'm sharing with you here is that 4 years ago, beginning in the fourth quarter of 2020, we saw a run up that lasted the entire year of the preceding year in 2021. Let's fast forward to current times, which is another 4 years later, okay? So if we come to current times and we look at our little consolidation box here, we've been consolidating here for a while. We're essentially consolidating within a tight range between 68 and 55. Okay, so 12, 36, just shy of a 20%. I'm good with the math in my head. Just shy of a 20% correct, 20% range deviation. Okay. So what's happening here is, once again, during the months, and this is actually July that I have this here, but we could, you know, if we really wanted to keep it consistent with our prior views, what we could do is move it right here, right around there. Okay. So essentially, this is the range. I mean, actually, this is part of, well, this candle is part of August. So this is our range here, and as you can see, we're in a nice, tight, consolidating phase here of less than 20%, between 68 and 55,000. Okay, so the question we have to ask ourselves, given, and I'll hit on why it's been every 4 years, but roughly every 4 years, we've seen the same price behavior, right? So should we anticipate a huge run that begins in the fourth quarter and lasts predominantly for the entire year of 2025? Now, you know that expression, history doesn't like to repeat but often rhymes. Guys, based on what I've shared with you, okay, and I always encourage you to do your own homework. Based on what I've shared with you, there's really only 2 possibilities here. Either this is coincidence, that what we just viewed just coincidentally played out the way it did. You can see the moves weren't move for move. It's not like this move here back in 2016 and 17 mirrored the exact movements in 20 and 21. That's not the point of what I'm sharing with you. The general direction of the market, the enthusiasm, the stage of the cycle that we were at, it was all the same, okay? So you're really in one camp. You either think that's coincidental or you don't think it's coincidental. And if you don't think it's coincidental, then what should we truly expect for the full year of 2025? Give me 1 second. Hey, everyone is still with me. How nice. Patience. Why, thank you so much. You have more patience than the majority of people in this market. So, obviously, I do not think all of this price movement is coincidental. As I've shared with you before, I spend a lot of time off camera studying the markets, right? I'm a very enthusiastic investor. I'm from a fundamental perspective. I have all sorts of different thoughts that are really exciting in terms of what could be moving down the road. And so I try to digest as much material as I can. And I would encourage, everybody has different life situations. Some of us have families, some of us are in school. But I would encourage you to make whatever time you can make to absorb as much information, be like a sponge within this industry. And AI as well. I think AI is another sector. It's only going to serve to benefit you because recognize that I come out here, I perform my honest assessment of what I see in the market, I share it with you, but I'm only one voice, I'm only one view, and it really only adds ammunition to your arsenal to be well equipped and be self-educated, right? You really should try to absorb this information as much as you can. And based on my own absorption of material in this market, one of the views that I've formulated over time, and it's data-driven. It's all data-driven. That's, as you know, Mr. Actuary guy over here loves his data-driven analyses. Everything's data-driven. I have come to the conclusion that prior price movements within the market are very positively correlated with interest rate decisions and M2 money, liquidity decisions. They all have this positive correlation with risk on assets and the dollar index as well. And so that's what's going on here. The other thing that you should ask yourself, is it coincidental? Very interesting to think about. Now, at some point, let me just say this. At some point, this isn't going to play out like this forever, right? At some point, and this gets into larger cyclical analysis that I actually want to spend more time studying, there is something to suggest that by sometime by the end of this decade, we should see some sort of a pretty large-scale correction in the market. And, of course, crypto being a risk-on asset won't be immune to that. But for the time being, we have these sort of 4-year cycles, okay, liquidity cycles, this business cycle that positively correlates also with the presidential election, and positively it also aligns with the Bitcoin halving dates. which is very, very interesting to think about. So this sort of high time frame view is why I was encouraging everyone, and Elliott wave analysis as well, because we haven't had our fifth impulsive wave yet of this huge 5-wave move that started back in 2019. That's why I was telling everyone, hey, let's during all this volatility, think about, if you're an emotional investor, think about all of the emotions that were going through you between the months of March to present day, right? 6 months. We haven't done anything with price. We literally haven't gone anywhere. Now, most of your altcoins have corrected significantly. Your stronger altcoins are holding up rather strong, like a Caspa or a Solana. They're holding up very well. But yes, most of the altcoins have corrected hard, just like when they run, they're going to outpace Bitcoin to the upside, just as they outpaced Bitcoin to the downside. But this sort of view, I'm trying to get you to see things through my eyes. That song, Peter Gabriel, In Your Eyes? That's a good song. Guys, for the ladies, I'm telling you, if you got a special lady in your life, put on In Your Eyes, Peter Gabriel. Crank that shit on the car. Sometimes she gets in the car, tell her how fine she looks. Look at her and just go, I got a little song for you. I was thinking of you. I heard this song, and the first thing I thought of was you. And then just put in Peter Gabriel, In Your Eyes. Beautiful song. In fact, now I have the song stuck in my head, and I'm going to listen to it immediately after this live stream. I love 80s music. What can I say? I haven't listened to 80s music in a while. Yeah, so that's my view on the market, guys. And that's why I'm saying just, really sit on spot and chill. I bought a shirt. I should have worn it today. I'll wear it next week. I'll try to remember. I bought a new shirt recently, and I need to wear that proudly. I actually want to redo, if you go to my YouTube channel, there's an intro video that I very much want to redo. It's way too wordy. I want to make it a little bit more concise. So maybe I'll wear that shirt for the video. Let's see who we have in the live stream. Evan, it's always nice to see you. Not happening. Raghorn, KRC20 on September 15th. Should be positive. Yes. Very excited to see that ecosystem officially launch. I think a lot of people missed the fact that when KRC20 initially launched, that was interesting. When KRC20 initially launched, it was essentially beta testing. This wasn't. There weren't plans to actually go live with it officially. At least that's my understanding. That's my recollection based on what I've read. So it's really going to be interesting now that they've taken a lot of time. Because I think before the first launch took place, August 1st or the very end of July. So it's been a month and a half. And I have full confidence in the team that they've figured out all the kinks, and we're going to have a successful launch on Sunday. So definitely very exciting. Should be very positive for price action as well. I completely agree. Ricky, always nice to see you. What's up, my friend? Throw a moving average on there. Well, that's not the purpose of the discussion. That's not the purpose of the discussion. We're just examining price action, my friend. So to your point, if you're attempting to have me throw a moving average on to point to something bullish or bearish, we've talked about this. That's hilarious. Lady advice from a guy without a girlfriend. Hey, how do you know I don't have a girl in my life? How do you know that? You never know. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. I'll read your comment in a moment, Evan. What was I going to say? So Evan's point about throwing up a moving average. I don't know what the point of that comment was, but one thing it made me think about is, we've already talked about this, that right now what we could do is we could pull up a whole bunch of charts that are bullish, and we could pull up a bunch of charts that are warning signs or bearish. And we've looked at those. We've talked about it. right? And I've acknowledged there's a lot of murkiness right now. It's a challenging environment. You know, one of the other things I thought about before the live stream, and it touches on this coincidental stuff we looked at, and also what I just spoke to with the murkiness in the market. It's very interesting to see human behavior in the charts respond extremely similarly throughout time, right? Humans, the thing is, the mix of market participants changes over time, the mix, but the distribution does not change. What do I mean by that? The distribution of market participants is always, most of the people are off sides. They're on the wrong side of things, and you have the minority that are interpreting and anticipating things correctly. Now that should make sense to you, because if it was the opposite way, tons of us would outperform the market and fucking be financially free when we were 30 or 40, right? Most of us are not in that situation. Most of us, and I'm not talking to anyone in particular listening or watching the live stream, most of us perform mediocre or on average. And in my opinion, if your investment returns are on average or on par with the average person in the United States, you're losing. Okay? You're not doing something right. You want to be average? This is you across an entire demographic within the United States, you're telling me you want your investments to perform average. Again, it's interesting to see human behavior continue to play out in the same way. That's why certain patterns exist within charts. The whole reason that certain patterns exist within charts is these things have been indicators of the people are looking at that, right? And the behavior of individual investors and traders, it's all baked into that, and that's why it lends itself to probabilities of going up and down. It's very fascinating, and I've shared with you guys during this entire time. I also encouraged you to stay away from emotional content. And I recognize there's a lot of big YouTube channels. There's some good big YouTube channels out there. There's one that I got turned on to recently. I think this guy does a really nice job. There are some bigger channels that just unemotionally sort of take a look at their view of the market, and those are the opinions I respect. Whether I agree or disagree, that's not the point. If it's well-founded on education and it's coming across in a sensical way, I appreciate it. But there's also some big channels out there that put a lot of that clickbait fear porn out there. And I've encouraged you for good reason, in my opinion, to stay away from that. And the reason is because of what we just talked about. I don't know. Okay, now first off, I can't tell you anything with certainty, but I can tell you what I feel very strongly about and convicted. I don't know if the fourth quarter and the 2025 is going to look more similar to this, or more similar to this, or be different in some way. Maybe we top earlier. Maybe we top in May or June. Maybe we top in March. I don't know, but I feel uber confident that we're going to be going significantly higher. And again, we have to be prepared for either scenario for Bitcoin to perform underwhelmingly or overwhelmingly in terms of our expectations. And again, this is why I put this video together. The beautiful thing about this video is it focuses on indicators and views that tell you we're in euphoria. We're in an impulsive top. The market is overheated. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin's at 90,000. It doesn't matter if it's at 95,000 or 150,000. Those indicators tell you with historical confirmation of when it's smart to begin selling. Picking a price target or picking a specific time frame is not a good approach. It is not a good approach. You need objective data to tell you the market is getting significantly overheated. And again, for me, I'm relying on that. I was very transparent about that. So if the market begins topping based on those indicators sooner than I was anticipating, or later than I'm anticipating, that's when I'm planning on selling. So if you haven't checked out that video, make sure to check it out. Let's see what we got here. XRP compared to 2018 Bitcoin. Yeah, that's not happening. XRP compared to 2018 Bitcoin? I'm not sure what you're talking about. The XRP chart looks nothing like the price action back here. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Evan. Jet Rocks, welcome in. Cass, there really isn't any updates. Let's clear 20 cents and then we'll have a conversation. We're just chipping and chopping around. There's no updates. XRP is ripping. Wow, it's up 5.8%. Congratulations. Golf claps. Let's since XRP was brought up, let's take a look at XRP. You know, there was something I retweeted earlier today about Cardano, and it illustrates the point that, you know, you guys can't marry your investments, your bags, okay? If you start to become emotional and marry your investments, you're not willing to look at both sides of the coin. This isn't, I understand there's consolidation here, but the fact that we broke down below this ascending line expresses weakness. We're below the 200 and the 50 simple moving average. We're trying to get above the 50. This is not a very impressive chart to me. It's just not. There is a scenario where this thing doesn't go higher than $3. I've already said XRP, if I had to pick a price range, I think the price range that I spoke to was like $5 to $7. I think that's realistic. I think you could see an 8 to 13 at most X from here. But asking for anything more than 5 to 7, I think it's a long shot. The chart is just not super bullish. It's just not. 10 to 100, you're on drugs. It will outperform everything. All right, Evan, chill, man. We all know you're trolling XRP at this point because your comments are making absolutely no sense. Guys, I don't really have too much else to talk about. I was examining this chart. There's really not a lot to talk about. This is the Flare XRP relativity chart. There was descending resistance here. We came back and we've back tested it as support. Interestingly enough, one thing I will share for you Flare holders, mine is delegated and staked. If we revisit this yellow area, which I certainly think is a possibility, I'll take a look at what the area is lower here, and XRP was anywhere between $2 to $5, you're getting a 20 to 50 cent flare. So that's what this chart is telling me. I think looking at current, let's come up with a new zone here. I'll do this real quick. I'll do some quick math for you on the spot. I think this entire zone is very possible. Anywhere in the orange and the yellow. Really, it's both. I think the orange and yellow are totally fair game. Now, if we take the midpoint here is about 7.5 as compared to the 0.1. So that's a 25% discount. So that means if XRP hit the orange zone, Flare would be worth, if XRP was between $2 to $5 and the Flare XRP chart, relativity chart got up to this area, which is completely possible, you'd be looking at 15 cents, 22 cents, 30 cents, and 37.5 cents. That's some good quick math right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is one motherfucking thing I'm good at. All right, guys, that's all I had. There really isn't too much else exciting going on in the market. Not too much else. Just kind of coasting along. Things will pick up in the fourth quarter, so hang in there. I don't anticipate live streaming tomorrow. I don't think the weekly close is going to be anything monumental. I think what will happen is once we start to get into the fourth quarter, we are going to get some exciting weekly closes, monthly closes. So as we start to get later towards the end of the year, and especially going into the beginning of 2025, I would anticipate additional live streams from me to keep you abreast of current developments within the market. All right, guys. Will you be updating your time to sell video as the market begins to check the... Yeah, of course. If you follow me on X, I'll make sure to let you know when things are firing off. I'll definitely be doing that. So, all right, guys. Until next time, let's all spread awareness. Let's carry the education forward. Take care. Good to see everyone.